All right, my friends, we are back. And I just want to say, sorry that the lectures are going up late this week. I've had just incredible amount going on, and just some personal matters that I had to attend to. So I appreciate your grace on that, and I do try to be gracious and kind if you need, some extensions or whatever. So, in any case, let's get to it now. The thing about this week is that it is going to cover the toughest material that we have covered thus far in terms of the depth and the metaphysical deepness. I already said deepness, depth, the metaphysical difficulty, because we're going to be talking about reality. So we're going to be going all the way back to like week 1 and a little bit of week 2 when we were talking about the nature of reality itself. And so we're kind of coming full circle. The nature of reality, of course, is for the Christian, for the religious person, revolving around the transcendent. And for Christians, that of course is God. And the transcendent, even though we can say things about it, we can't say what it really is. I mean, the word God, even, or transcendent, it's just a word. It's just a category. It doesn't actually fully say or exhaust what the transcendent even is. It's just a word. You can't call the thing that, the being that created language by some linguistic term that exhausts that being. It just doesn't make sense. And so the transcendent is properly a mystery. And so the first thing we need to talk about before we get into the incarnation, the Trinity, and new creation is mystery. Now, I hope you don't mind the dogs barking here. That's actually my dog, Strider. But it's so nice outside today, so I've got the windows open and stuff. But anyway, so the thing is that a mystery is not the same. In the philosophy of religion, mystery is a technical term. We don't use the word the same way that it is used, say, about like a mystery novel, or about like atoms. Well, we don't know what's behind a Higgs boson, for example. They might have figured it out by now, I don't know, but it's a mystery, but maybe someday we'll find out. A mystery in philosophy of religion is properly something that can never be figured out. Okay? It is a mystery so profound, so deep, so connected with the actual fabric of reality that there is no way to subject it to a mathematical formula or to some sort of rational critique that can end up explaining it, ever. So when we get to Christian mysteries like the Incarnation and the Trinity in the next lectures, these are not realities that we're going to someday understand. The Christians do not believe that someday in the afterlife we are going to understand the Trinity. We will never understand the Trinity. We will never understand the Incarnation, not in any full or exhaustive sense. It is beyond our ability to comprehend. And I mean, some people say, well, that's a nice, card to play. It's not at all. If there is some explanation for reality, I have to believe, I think it only rational to believe, that there's got to be some aspect to it that we could never fully understand. I mean, it gives rise to us. We exist because it exists. And so I don't understand how somebody could say, for example, well, someday science is going to answer all the questions. Or even philosophy, someday is going to answer all the questions. We'll figure it out someday. I don't see how that's possible. Eventually, you have to get back to the ground of being itself. Where do things come from? And that ground of being, which we say is being itself, remember that's the main definition for God, being itself. Well, I have to think, there's no way we're going to fully ever understand that. It must be beyond our comprehension. It gave rise to us. It caused us. And therefore, it is not illogical or irrational, but it's beyond logic. It's supra-logical or supra-rational. The Trinity, for example, is not irrational, but it's beyond our ability to understand and comprehend, and therefore is beyond our rational capabilities. And so in Christianity, we believe a mystery is only revealed by God. You can't deduce it from nature. You can't figure it out on your own. God must communicate it. And then that communication can only be truly known by believing in it, i.e. faith. Now, you might still be thinking, this feels like a nice, easy little trump card, a get out of jail free card. That, no, you don't get to just play mystery and say, now we don't have to explain it. Well, I'm not going to say that we're not going to try to understand as far as possible what the incarnation of the Trinity is. I mean, that's something theologians and philosophers have been doing for millennia. And God's own self. Humans have sought to understand to the best we can what that means. And that's how we discuss it in the classical view, which I've been taking, which I believe in, that understands it according to like the absolute attributes, which we're going to come back. The absolute attributes are going to be essential to these conversations that we're going to be having. But it's not we can't even talk about it. No, we will talk about it, but we got to understand at the end of the day, it is beyond our ability to understand. And so if you're still thinking it's a trump card, okay, fine. But guess what? And you can take this one to the bank. There are people out here that disagree with this, and I think they're wrong. All worldviews have mysteries. Doesn't matter if you don't believe in God, you still have mystery. Or if you are part of another religion, or you believe in only science can tell us the truth. It doesn't matter. Eventually, every worldview gets to a point where they say, there's no way to know. Every worldview, every system of beliefs has conclusions that they just accept and can't explain or prove. Questions that can't be answered with certitude. You can say, I don't know what happened before the Big Bang, but I know there's no God, and therefore I know no God caused it. But that's not something you can prove. You can't explain why it even happened. You can only believe it. And so the question is not, will you have faith? Will you believe in mysteries? No. No. You don't get to do that. That's really the true, get out of jail free card. That's really the true card that you play because you don't want to answer, because you don't want to admit that there are things that you just have faith in and you don't know for certain why they're the case. That's the true, I think, weakness in a worldview. Be an atheist, I don't care. We can talk about that, but if you think that you don't have faith, there is no God, then we have nothing to talk about because you're not being honest with your own worldview. And therefore, it's again not a question of will you have faith? Will you believe in mysteries? But rather, which mysteries will you choose to have faith in? Which mysteries will you choose to believe in? That's an inescapable question. And so it's better just to really give yourself a good hard look and figure out what those are. For the Christians, we have two mysteries. Well, three mysteries, I say. God, that God is a Trinity, and that Christ is God incarnate. And so that's what we're going to be discussing, starting with the Incarnation in the next lecture. See you then.